Going live. All right, I'm live. Yay. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the number one place for the more mature entrepreneur who is learning about how to turn their content marketing into actual content that drives traffic specifically to their business to do more business. Now, I'm in the midst of a 31-day live stream like extravaganza in January 31st. Every single January 2022, I am going live every single day on my YouTube channel just for January 2022. So if you are looking for playlists loaded with videos that will show you how to market more efficiently on, say, Instagram, or using Instagram Reels, or using TikTok, or you want a specific TikTok growth playlist, or you're learning about Instagram SEO and all those kind of stuff, all those kind of things, because any and all of that can help you with your content marketing to drive more traffic to your business, to do more business. You definitely want to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I have playlists on all these topics, 3 to like 5, 7 videos deep, depending upon the topic. So this is a resource, again, for the more mature entrepreneur that goes, how do I create content that's true to what my business is, true to who I am as a more mature individual, where I don't have to dance and sing if I don't want to, but I can still get content out there and reach the people that I am trying to sell my offerings to. You're in the right place. Okay, so every day for 31 days in January 2022, we're going live. I just pinned in the live stream, and I'll do it on the replay too, the list of the playlist into which all of the replays from these lives are going into. Any one of these lives can stand on its own, but you do get the best experience if you start from day one and move forward. So you will ultimately have 31 days of coaching in that playlist. So I'm just going to pull up really quickly my notes for today's teaching, how to plan your life, especially shot through the lens of an entrepreneur. And we're going to take an unusual approach to this, but I've been coaching. I'm going into my 9th year of coaching, and I've been an entrepreneur really for decades, one way or another. So, but as a business coach, and more specifically as a content marketing coach, I have helped students do a lot in the way of planning out their businesses and also planning out their content. So today's training takes an unusual way, because I was trying to get creative with someone several years ago, back when I did one-on-one coaching. One-on group is all I do now, and then I have my courses, and that's basically that. But I had somebody that was getting to be like, they were a hammerhead, and it was hard to get them to approach planning on behalf of their business and, as you know, with respect to their entrepreneurial life really effectively. So I was like, and I knew they liked gardening just in their private time. So I sat there and I was like, okay, let me come back to our next one-on-one session. And again, I don't do these anymore, but I was like, and let me like come at this with from a different perspective. And it really did work because they liked gardening. And it's like, I joined planning on behalf of your business and gardening together, and they had an aha moment. So for some people out there who like gardening, or they like trying to think about things in terms of like tactile, like you're a very kinesthetic learner, this might help you too. So I've got my notes up, and I'm just going to greet the students that I have here really quickly. And again, if you haven't subscribed to me yet, you should, because I will help you. I will help you through live streams and replays on my channel. Hi, Ginia Weaver. Let me greet a lot of my students. Daniela Waterhawk is here. Good to see you. Daniela, Miss Lenore, love is here. Ooh, Leathers for Feathers. It has been a minute. Good to see you. Happy New Year. I'm Chicken Swell is here. Linda Nagoda is here. Susie B, the Speckled Loon by Susie B is here. Tiffany from Unbound by Tiffany is here. Bridget and Darren from Personal Space Creations, they're here. I know it's Sunday, so I'm going to get in and out with today's training because I know you guys are off to church. Jane Sharkey's here. Log Cabin Leather by Jan. What's up, Miss Jan? Nice to see you. All right, so I greeted you all. And again, if you've missed any of the previous day's trainings, I may refer to some things here that we have talked about over the last 15 days. This is day 16. So definitely make sure that you catch up with the playlist because, again, each of these trainings can stand on their own, but they're best used when you've got everything else as a foundation. We slowly build off day 1 through now day 16. So just a quick second. Okay. So can you use some of this advice I'm about to give you for your personal life too? You could. I just shoot things on this channel through the lens of an entrepreneur. So here we go. Your life and your business is like a garden. You're the gardener who tends it. You decide what grows in your garden and you decide what, if anything, you need to weed out of it. Okay. So if you've ever done gardening in real life, this is going to kind of make sense to you. You can do a lot to shape how your garden grows. Okay. There's only so much you can do for each individual plant. They're going to want to tend to go and trend to go where they're going to go. But you can shape things as they continue to grow up and grow out, right? So you can't control the occasional weird things that might happen completely, but you can deal with it. You can't control the occasional undesirable seeds that the wind might blow it into your garden and they take root. And you're like, whoa, where did this come from, right? You can control a lot. You can't control everything personally and or professionally. And we're the more mature entrepreneur on this channel generally. We know that. But while you can't control what sometimes gets blown into the garden of your business and your life, you can control what happens once they land and you see things starting to crop up. You then can deal with it, right? So try to go with like this green growth kind of related metaphor, right? Because it's a useful 30,000 foot panoramic view of how you should manage your business and I suppose by proxy your life. Each day of your business life, especially as an entrepreneur, should be more of a healthy harvest, yielding the results of you living out both personally and professionally your why. So on day 1, we chose our why personally, and we chose the why that's going to serve as the North Star, at least in 2022, on behalf of our business. So you will have 2 parallel whys. They may borrow a lot from one another. That would make sense. But entrepreneurially, you may be going off in a very different direction than where your family life would otherwise have you be, right? And that's okay too, right? They're not necessarily going to intersect at every point. The 2 whys can be parallel. So if you missed day 1, you want to go back because a lot of people certainly found use out of that. That was a popular day. Okay, so think of your business as like a bed of weeds. And if you're sitting there thinking about it like that, and you're worried whether or not it's too late to do anything about it, as with anything else, if you think you can do something about it or you think you can't do something about it, either way, you tend to be right. So just like in a real garden, if you're like, man, I really haven't tended the garden of my business in 2021, right? You might have had real legit reasons, right? Babies were born, people died, there were weddings, there were divorces, there was, God forbid, COVID or other forms of physical challenges, right? This isn't heaven or nirvana we're living on or in. This is planet Earth. Every year you're going to have good, bad, and ugly. But maybe 2021 was like really bad for you and legit. So maybe there was a bunch of weeds coming into your business. Things went wrong. You didn't tend your inbox right. You didn't send out any emails, or you barely did. You know, you were more like a hobbyist. A month would go by, maybe you wouldn't have a sale at all. And so everything started to collect digital dust. Maybe your platforms, you know, you publish something and nobody sees it because you haven't been persistent and consistent publishing on at least the top 2 social media platforms that are most important to your niche on the daily. Okay. You know, and so maybe kind of digital weeds grew up in your online business, and that happens. Okay. So just like in a real garden, you're going to have to get your hands in there and get dirty, right? perhaps like practically it's going to feel like you're on your hands and knees yanking out all those weeds, like anything that's undesirable. Okay. And just cleaning out, like cleaning out your email box. Okay. Maybe you don't get to email inbox zero. I'm not saying that has to be a goal, but if your emails got out of control, your DMs got out of control, your messenger, you're just not keeping up with stuff. Don't beat yourself up. That doesn't help, but you might need to get in there and deal with the weeds. Your website hasn't been updated. Your theme is out of date. You have broken links. You got to fix stuff, right? And then you got to spray down a film of weed killer if you were doing, gardening in real life, right? After you cleaned everything out, you might have to like get rid of the weeds like even harder. You might have to spray some weed killer or do what it takes to keep the weeds from growing back in whole or in part. So when it comes to your business as an entrepreneur, you may need, and you may have known this was overdue for a while, and that's okay, but you need to put systems and or support in place so that you can keep moving forward with your entrepreneurial goals, and to whatever extent also your personal goals, so that you don't get to December 31st and go, crap, I'm looking back and saying I was not able to keep up with what I wanted to keep up with in terms of my goals, in terms of my why. Oh, Bridget says church is virtual today. Yeah, that's happening a lot more. Marissa Parsons, Carol O'Neill is here. Good to see you. Okay, so and going back a couple of days, we introduced the dream team concept. And even if you're on, public assistance, there are things that you can get for free that really can make a difference with your business. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, money's too tight to mention, and you ain't even got a pension, there's still a lot of things that you can do. Folks and entities that you can, get onto your dream team to support you personally and or professionally, to help you. And they can help you deal with the weeds. They can help you for free or cheap or on a sliding scale. If you're really, really having a hard time and you're watching me going, Stacey, I wish I could buy any of your programs, but I can't right now, right? But it doesn't matter, because you can start with where you are and deal with the weeds personally and professionally, right? And then go, what kind of weed killer, once I've caught up with my inboxes, my email, once if I do like handmade or physical products from my home, once I've cleaned out my work area and I fixed and maintained and repaired and done what I need to do for my equipment, reorganize my materials, my ingredients, whatever, right? If you're a coach or a course creator, maybe it's time to clean out your devices and go through your clouds and clean things out. Maybe you got to declare bankruptcy and just go, I'm deleting so much crap, or at least I will push it out onto an external hard drive, and or I will push it up into a storage cloud and I will start clean. And now so that's getting rid of the weeds in a variety of ways, no matter what your business model. You have a brick and mortar, maybe it's time to primal screen clean everything, right? And reorganize things and redo your displays. So that's kind of like yanking out the weeds, dealing with the weeds. And then the weed killer is like, what systems or support through a dream team or otherwise do you need, especially from an entrepreneurial standpoint, so that you can get the big wheel of your business rolling again if it's totally stopped, or that you can kind of like lubricate that wheel, keep the skids greased so that you can keep that big wheel turning with some help, free, cheap, reinvesting profits back into your business wherever you are in life, having your dream team help you personally, professionally, or both. So again, if you skipped any of the days from the prior coachings, I did pin the playlist that all of these live coachings in January 2022 will correspond with. So make sure you go there. Make sure you click that big red like button. Click the subscribe button if you have not subscribed to me yet. If you have, double check. Make sure you click that bell notification and select all. Hey, Laura from Music Chick Art. What's going on? And make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, both live and on the replay. It will push this video out to more people. While I'm live, it will ping or notify more of my subscribers. I'm getting close to 1,600, which is cool. And on the replay, it'll suggest out the replay to more people. So forget helping me. Me is dull, dull, dull. At least you're helping other students of mine see this in their suggested or in their feed on YouTube. All right, so here's the thing about gardening and life personally and or professionally. You're always going to get dirty. Whether you're faced with a beautiful flower garden of a business right now, or you're currently facing a weed-laden nightmare, or anything in between, no matter what, you gotta toil to keep a beautiful business going, right? Make little tweaks and otherwise keep a business going, or you have to go through all of getting rid of the weeds and putting the weed killer in place so that this way your weed laden nightmare can morph into like a beautiful flower garden of a business, right? So there's no such thing as like clean gardening in real life. No matter what, even if you're doing some light maintenance, you're always going to get a little bit dirty. And the more work you have to do, the dirtier you're going to be. You're going to be on your hands and knees. Everything's going to be dirty. And it might be backbreaking work if you've let everything go too far with your business or your garden. And you're like, you know what? The next day or two is going to suck, but I want to save the garden. I want to resurrect it. So, okay, I know that there's going to be no clean gardening here. I'm not just turning on the sprinklers and that's that. But I will get my garden, or in this case, my business, to the point where I've got a good fresh start again. And then I'm just going to keep up with it in terms of maintenance. I've got my systems in place, right? So there's no such thing as clean gardening. There's no such thing as a perfect life, personally or professionally. It's all dirty work. It can sometimes be sweaty work. It can often be uncomfortable work, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, right? So if you've got to get down in the dirt no matter what, make it worth your while. So what do I mean by that? Hey, Ann McDonald, what's going on? I want to try and greet you guys as I can. Yes, and Danielle is right. Going back to the Dream Team Day where we were at the end crowdsourcing, like what other things? She's right. You can check out the Small Business Association for assistance. That's helped her business get through, which is good. If you have SCORE, it's like oh God, I always blank out on the acronym, but it's like retired engineers, retired managers. It's kind of like another version of SBA. You don't normally have SBA and SCORE both having an office in the same municipality, but you could find both of them in the same county. You can go in person, but these things increasingly through the years have websites, can do online chat, will email you, can do things telephonically. They're great resources if you're starting from scratch or close, or you need help. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore, but places like those you can go to for one-on-one assistance. I will be reopening up later on in this business quarter Funnel Dynasty for more people to enroll in. That's really the only one-on group coaching you're going to get from me, because I got a lot of stuff going on in the background. So if you want that beyond what we're going to do here in January 2022, there will be another opportunity for that, because it's a big deep dive course, but we also have one-on group coaching. And that is very nuanced, right? We'll cover whatever's going on in the course. We'll answer any questions. And then if people are ready, I can spotlight those students and we can look at their website. We can look at their social and we can tweak. I can help them tweak, or I can help them direct or redirect their efforts. You can get feedback from other students, and we can help you tweak your content marketing plan so that it's more effective. Sometimes it just takes a fresh pair of eyes. So that's where that kind of activity goes on. All right. So if you are happy with the direction of your business, that's cool. You want to make sure you have systems in place so that the weeds don't crop in, weeds are always going to happen in every garden, but not so many weeds. You've got a good thing going and it's just maintenance, right? So do you need to plant seeds to make the garden of your business even more effective, even more successful, especially in the year 2022. So when I'm talking about planting seeds for your business, as opposed to literally planting seeds in your garden, right? Because you have to do that from year to year to keep growth going. You can't just set and forget any business. You can't set and forget any business completely. That is true. And you can't just set and forget any garden, because it's not just going to be weeds that take over. Some things are going to grow, die, and not repollinate. So you always have to tend. You always have to plan for growth. You always have to plan systems for maintenance and for weed control. So in your everyday business, when I'm talking about planting seeds, we are talking about setting the SMART goals, but SMAART goals, right? That when you are done planning these goals, you literally have a plan come out on the other side of it. Because as they've said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And it's great to kind of set a goal the way a lot of people do, quick and dirty set goals, and then they announce them to everybody. And sure, there are studies that show that once you've announced these goals, it could feel like to your subconscious mind, you've already achieved them, because everybody's like, rock on, you go. And then a lot of folks will self-sabotage. But when we are more intentional and we are setting up SMAART goals, and that's literally a filtration system that you get a plan on the other end of it for every single goal, short term or long term, especially in 2022. Now that's planting seeds in your garden. And the short term goals are 90 days or less. The long term goals are anything over 90 days. And we're in January. You got plenty of 2022 left to set up your SMAART goals, so that you don't hit December 31st and look back and go, oh crap, nothing happened again. All right. Or I didn't get to achieve much, if any, of my goals. Now, you can plan out the garden of your business daily so that you can keep your finger on the pulse of how much tending the garden of your business actually needs. So you would want to go back to days 2 and 3 for the SMAART goals, and also a longer conversation about like setting business goals that have to do with money and how to go back and unpack and reverse engineer them. So if you missed those days, you want to check those out. And then I think day 5, we talked about the goal keeping ceremony, 5 to 10 minutes a day, where you're looking at all the goals. Did I knock all the baby step goals that I could do today off my list, no matter how small? What? Great. I should catch myself doing something right instead of always catching myself doing something wrong. So when I'm talking about planning out the garden of your business, the daily tending is important. I do think 5 to 10 minutes a day of getting real. You didn't just set these goals and even set real plans for these goals, and then you don't pay attention to them every day. What you focus on, you tend to bring about more of in your life, right? So I don't want you setting even short-term goals or baby step goals, let alone longer-term goals for 2022, without kind of pruning and tending every single day. What can you strike off your list that makes you feel cathartic? What can you say, all right, I didn't achieve a short-term goal yet, but man, I really made progress on this one. And what can I do to continue to keep, have progress with respect to this goal? What can I do so that I don't fall out of integrity with goals that I keep dancing up to the edge of, and then I go get spooky and I run away, right? So like, this is what you do when you're planning out and tending to the garden of your business every single day. But what about like more actual planning for either a garden or your business that isn't necessarily just SMAART goals, right? Like, so when you're planning a garden and you have a particular vision for what the end result's supposed to look like, when everything's in bloom, right? We're well into spring. You want to always begin with the end in mind. What's the picture that you want for that garden? Because that's going to tell you what to plant and where, and it's going to tell you where to plant all this stuff, actually the whole garden. Because if some things need sunlight and some things don't, or too much sunlight hits this, or the other thing doesn't get what it needs, you have to decide what goes in the garden right now for what you want right now with the end that you have in mind. like planning your business inside of 2022. And then you say, okay, maybe I can plant another garden next spring, next summer, next year. But, because I can't have everything in the same garden, it won't work personally, professionally, both. I get people who are multi-passionate, multi-creative. They want to start 10 jobs at the same time. And I don't care how much money and power you have, it never works well, right? So you want to think about the one garden that you can have now, given your facts and circumstances now, given the soil conditions that you have now, and you are beginning with the end in mind. You want to know what you want your business to yield for you, especially in 2022, in terms of the end results, which probably going back to day one of all this coaching is, giving you what you need personally and professionally to live in harmony with those two whys, right? Because then even if you didn't get every last goal accomplished, you can look back and say most of them were, and I am living my best life, and I'm doing so much better personally and professionally as of December 31st than I was of January 1st, 2022, right? So you begin with the end in mind, and then you calculate what kind of season you'll have, right? And you're going to know how to, as you reverse engineer, to go from the end result that you want to where you are now. You still have plenty of 2022 left. There's no excuses, right? You can calculate, what season you're going to have this by. There's 4 business quarters, 4 seasons of 2022. We're only part way through the first season or business quarter of 2022. You can literally, like with a garden, plant season by season, quarter by quarter, what you expect to get out of your business. And then you are setting or resetting your short and long-term goals so that you can get to that end result, right? And then you'll know what seeds you're planting for this year's garden. You're not going to have a too big garden. You can't handle it all given your current facts and circumstances. You're going to know how to properly nurture the seeds that you plant, the goals that you set, and what goals and what seeds you can plant, tend, and kind of get a harvest or growth on from season to season, right? And you're going to understand that you can't just set it and forget it. So you're planning in tending, maintenance, and systems for your business, just like you would for your garden. And of course, you're going to make adjustments on what you can do or not do for your garden with every season of that year and with every season of your life, personally and professionally here. But the thing is, I want you to tend that garden. So, don't just try and set it and forget it. Don't just go, well, I danced up to the edge and I sweat blood today and I did it. So now I earned myself a pass tomorrow. If you're really good at gardening, most times, most seasons, you've got to be tending it actively every single day, right? And so if you've got a lot of weeds going, I understand in your business, just like in your garden, you're going to have to do back-breaking work to really till that soil and get everything really recharged and reset. But instead of dialing up the drama and going, oh my God, there's weeds in my garden. Oh my God, I can't get my business going. I just can't. Grab a hoe and start working. Okay. And I mean a hoe that you till the soil with. Ha ha. You want to get that dream team together. We covered that again in detail a couple days ago. And they will help you free, cheap, paid. And even if you have a lot of money and you could do a lot of paid strategies, there might be free and cheap stuff you should look into too. Some plantings in the garden of your business won't need much attention. You can kind of not quite set it and forget it, but set it and monitor it. And all or most of the times, once it's up and running well, that's cool. As a solopreneur, it might be hard to get a lot of those things in that place. But once you're more of an intermediate business, you can start reinvesting roughly 25% back into your business for trainings, for digital download packets that will help you and your team, for independent contractors, to help you with one or more tasks, maybe even a part-time employee. Then you start reinvesting back into your business. There are things that you can delegate, help set up, help strengthen, and then you can largely set it and forget it. But you're managing, not micromanaging, and you're keeping your finger on the pulse, right? Many hands make light work, right? You're not going to burn out. So when you've got some plantings in the garden of life, that just by themselves, or because you now have people helping you, they don't need that much attention. That's cool. But keep your finger on the pulse. And other plantings in the garden of your business will require strong direction and a lot of work on your part to give them shape. And again, the entrepreneur, the solopreneur, the beginner, they've got a lot of hats to wear as they're out there gardening their business. But that's the thing. Like, you're not going to get anything but weeds if you don't start to dig down and tend. But, where you are in your season of life, you have to be realistic about what your business can do for you. Yes, it's good to have, as we discussed a couple days ago, stretch goals. Okay, there's the realistic goals that we know we really can achieve. Then there's a level of stretch goals. I really could push it. And as long as nothing crazy happens, I could get there or come a little short. I could get there. That's kind of a stretch goal outcome. And then there's the hairy, scary goal. Um, you know, uh, that everything would have to fall down right, but it's not. You're not tripping or hallucinating that before you get to 2022, if your business hasn't gone six figure yet, for example, but you kind of come up close the last 2 years, maybe your goal is to at least hit 90,000. Your stretch goal might be, it's very realistic for me to hit 100,000. I would have to really work hard. I would have to reinvest into my business and be an implementation beast. I would have to stretch. I would have to get real dirty in the garden of my business, but it's doable. The hairy, scary goal might be I could hit 150,000. And I'm going to set it, I'm going to name it, I'm going to claim it. And even if I fall short, but get my midway goal by the time I hit December 31st, 2022, I ain't going to feel bad. So you never know exactly how a garden, literally or figuratively, is going to play out until it starts to unfold. You can plan, you have an idea, you reverse engineer, you're more likely to get that outcome. But until things start happening, you never know exactly how the plants are going to come up. You have an idea, but you don't know exactly. And you never know how things are going to work out in your life personally and professionally as you work your business. But the good news is you'll get a garden if you work it. You'll have a business if you work it. You'll get to profitability if you work it. And then you can inch up in terms of profitability every week, every month to the end of 2022 and beyond. The good news is that if stuff comes up and you're like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be like this, I'm not happy, you can change and adapt your techniques, your methodologies, and where you can, your reinvestments back into your business so you can get the garden that you wanted, right? Marilyn Moselle, what's going on? And Michael Cole, what's going on? All right, so just like you shouldn't take it personally if your plants don't grow exactly how tall you want in a real life garden or exactly how wide that you thought they might, don't freak out if everything doesn't turn out exactly like you wanted in a real life garden. But there's a lot of things you can control and tweak as things grow so that you can influence in large part the outcome, right? But I want you to also, as this year progresses, I want you to relax and adapt your methods so that eventually you'll earn your green thumb when it comes to not just a literal garden, but the garden of your business and of your entrepreneurial life. So this is just another way of looking at planning and dealing with, the challenges and planning for the good stuff and casting forward to the end of 2022 and then reverse engineering backwards as you go. It's just another way for you to look at making your business more real, more serious, and more of a strategic thing that you really do have more control over than you might think. Okay. And let's see. I actually have another book that I would recommend. I'm not going to put down a link about it or anything like that. It's The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, PhD. I know that when I did one-on-one coachings, when I referred that book to some people that were just being hammerheads, having a hard time really casting their minds forward a year, really having a hard time with hairy, scary goal versus middle goal. They were only thinking at best, like, kind of like the hurdle goal. Like, yeah, if I work, I'll clear that hurdle. I expect that I will get that. Okay, but what about like the challenge or the blockade after the hurdle? Well, I don't know. I don't think I could handle that. Or I don't think I could clear that hurdle to Olympian results. I could kind of like barely clear that hurdle. That's not really healthy entrepreneurial thinking, and it's really not healthy personal thinking either. So, tomorrow's training, we're going to talk about how to sell yourself more on the concept of success. If you're just having a hard time and your inner critic is still kind of kicking you around, well, first of all, I hope you didn't miss any of the previous days, because day to day, we've had a lot of people have aha moments on stuff, and that's great. But, no matter what, tomorrow we're going to do a deeper dive to really address the self sabotaging behavior and like another trick I have up my sleeve if you're still staying stuck like that. So if you guys came in a little later on the training, I do want you to circle back and listen to it again, because this was a good compact one. And I'm telling you, in real life, when I used to do one-on-one coaching, I know that I was able to help at least one really stubborn person break through. And then other people were like, oh, that's really cool. I might not have been struggling, but it's another lens to shoot things through. It's another way to view things. So if you guys got any value out of today, please give this video a big thumbs up. Forget what it does for me. Sure, it'll make my heart go pitter patter, but really the utilitarian in me says, while we're live, when I get thumbs up, it's more likely to ping more of my students or followers when I'm live. You're really helping them. And then on the replay, it is more likely also to suggest this video out, the replay version of the video, to more of my subscribers. And depending upon how I optimize things, it's more likely to push this video out to people who aren't subscribers of mine yet, but should be. So I will wait a second to see if anybody has any questions about today's training or any of the other trainings that we did before. If you listen to them, I want to help you out with that. Ooh, I see the thumbs up. Please, guys, that does help a lot. Hashtag live, hashtag replay also. It helps me to see who's looking in when. And you replay folks know I'm usually pretty good about hearting and thumbs up your hashtag replay to show you've been seen. I have students all over the globe. I have them in every time zone. And so I recognize the fact that I'm going to have some people checking in later. Let me at least give you some love back. All right. So does anyone have any questions about today's trainings? If you've missed any of the previous trainings leading up to today, I have the playlist pinned down below, and I'll do it on the replay as well. Hey, Christine, what's going on? You missed a good one. So make sure you circle back and listen to it from the beginning. Did this make a bit of a difference for you in terms of like how you're looking at dealing with the weeds versus having to tend the garden of your business? Kim Arnold says, hashtag live, but I'm late and we'll have to listen to the rest. Sorry, don't be sorry. I'm glad that you care, Miss Kim Arnold. Much love to you. So at least give this video a big thumbs up before we all go. I know it's Sunday. Some people have like church or whatever, even if they're doing it virtually. So just wanted to be able to lay down this training. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about selling your subconscious mind the concept that, yes, you can be an entrepreneurial success if you care to do it. Even if you're kind of like being resistant and you're like, I just don't know why. I always have this problem, Stacey. Hopefully, tomorrow's training will help you. So make sure you've subscribed to me if you haven't already. Hey, what's going on? Oh, Poppy Blue 01, Poppy Blue. You missed a good one. Make sure you circle around and listen to this from the beginning. What's the trick in recognizing the weeds? Says Daniela. That's a really good question. Let me just drink really fast. If anybody else has any questions about today's training, let me know. I would say when you're like, what's the trick in recognizing the weeds? I would say if you're like, I'm not really sure what qualifies as a weed versus what qualifies as growth. Well, first of all, let's just sit with that for a minute, because some of this stuff becomes self-obvious. Maybe the weed is, I've just never gotten an email service provider like MailChimp or OO, for example. Or I have a free account, or I'm paying for OO, and I have an account, but I've never really done anything. Or maybe I set up an opt-in, and because that's a weed. Okay. I don't have an email service provider at all. That's a weed. That's going to take your garden in and of itself. You don't have an email service provider like MailChimp or OO or something like that. Coaches and course creators might like ConvertKit or Entreport, whatever. But if you don't have an email service provider, if you're not capturing leads, if somehow you are relying on Amazon, depending upon your business model, Amazon or Udemy and Skillshare, or, just like only, Etsy or Fair or something like that. These are all great traffic sources. Depending upon your business model, it may make sense to put one or two strong, uh, you know, um, evergreen kind of offerings on any of these platforms. You're not going to do it all. It just depends on your business model. And that can be a traffic source, and that can be a source of income. But ultimately, you will have a darn hard time go into six figures, multiple six figures, seven or above. And most of you aren't here to play small, right? You really don't want a ceiling on your business. Some of you, especially if you're handmade products businesses, it's hard for you to even imagine hitting five figures, let alone multiple five figures. Well, how are you going to do it if you're just relying on Etsy that's way too super competitive? Yes, maybe having a couple of products on there makes sense as a traffic driver. And yes, maybe you should learn about how to optimize your business on Etsy. If you're a handmade business, for example, same thing with Udemy, Skillshare, things like that. There are things that coaches and course creators can do to really optimize for search and use that as a traffic source, right? For example, and if you're like a phantom products based business or something else like drop shipping, sure, you could work Amazon or Walmart or anything like that. You could do arbitrage via eBay and things like that. I've been a business coach for so many years. I've seen it all just about at this point. But if you're not capturing your leads, that's an example of a weed in your business, because you will have such a hard time selling, because 75% of your sales should be coming from an email list, not just appeasing to anybody who trips across your website on Google. And if you don't have a website at all, 60% of people will never buy from you. Even if they open up on Udemy or Skillshare or wherever, or Etsy, they'll go, this is a hobbyist, and I've got someone similarly situated and similarly priced. And I open up another tab to vet them to see if I know, like, and trust them to spend money with them. And if I have a choice between two similarly situated entrepreneurs and the pricing isn't that different, I'm going to go with the one that seems like a real business, which lots of folks are doing. Lots of people get burned from online stuff. And so they're really becoming more and more savvy about what looks like a business, smells like a business, acts like a business. That's a business. I'm going to buy from them. Some hobbyist running this crap out of their basement. I don't know. I don't know. I might be scared. So if you don't have a website, that represents a weed. It doesn't have to be the hugest website on earth, but it does have to be a website that doesn't look dated and links aren't broken on it, because up to 60% of people will never shop from you at all, ever, if you don't have one. So I know that's like, oh, and that might be a stumbling block for a lot of people. That represents a weed, and all of the negativity and the fear and the loathing of having to deal with a website or update a website. That's a lot of fear and loathing and crap, especially if you don't like tech. That's a weed, but you have to deal with it, because do you really want to play small and have 60% of people turned off by you because you don't seem like a real business and digitally you seem untrustworthy? No, you don't want that. Another weed is not capturing leads on your business, because you could be doing 3 times the business if you had leads. If people aren't willing to raise their hand and get on an email list for you for free, they are very much not likely going to buy from you, ever. Maybe if you're lucky and you're working your social, otherwise, you can get 20, 25% of your sales or so from out in the wild. but it's really the people who trust you enough to ascend themselves in a relationship with you. It's free to follow you and it's easy, or subscribe or whatever. It's free to get on your email list, and even baby boomers know how to unsubscribe, right? So your problem is, if you're unwilling to capture the leads, that's a weed in your business. If you know you need to get an email service provider, but you haven't, that's a weed in your business. If you have set up an automated welcome series and you're like, well, at least I've done that, and you're building an email list of any size, but you never or almost never sell to them, that's a weed in your business. Get it? So if there are pinch points in your business, especially once you're getting out of beginner and into intermediate level, and you're like, hey, I can't do it all, I'm starting to burn out, but I don't want to reinvest back into my business to get an independent contractor, a part-time, full-time employee. First of all, you're going to burn out mentally, physically, emotionally, even financially. You will suffer because it's a pinch point. You can't get to all the customer service. You can't handle all the tech stuff. You can't admin your group of paid students. And maybe you have a group of free, a free group that people who want to talk about the pain point that you have offerings to satisfy. And you're getting to nurture and know, like, and trust that Facebook group, so they become customers, right? You can't manage everything. You can't ship everything out fast enough. That's a weed in your business. Once you get to the point that you can't do it alone, you must reinvest back in your business. Every single one of my 6-figure or over students, they have a team. And sure, they pay out thousands of dollars a month to the independent contractors and or part-time and full-time employees, but they would never get to meet, exceed, go to multiple 6 figures. And I have a couple of 7-figure businesses now, including Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, that I have coached or do assist. I work with Joe's part-time now. They've had to reinvest. And in the beginning, it hurts. It feels like you're pulling a rib out of your side. But if you're not dealing with that, that's a weed in your business. These are weeds that can choke your business, just shooting everything through a more entrepreneurial lens, right? You can cut your nose off financially to spite your face. I get it. Everyone's got bills and everyone wants to retire themselves or someone else and all those things. And those are all glorious goals and wise to guide you. But at the end of the day, you will not have a successful garden if you don't tend the weeds. Those are really more innovative examples of weeds. Not keeping up with your inbox, not keeping up with your messages. Those are weeds that will eventually take over your garden. You will lose sales from people who would have bought from you. You will get people spreading the word out on the digital internet that you don't, the word's going to get out. If you don't respond fast enough, you'll lose business. So Daniela says, got it. Thank you. Bridget says, I have problems with stretch goals. I'm either a hurdle or an outrageous over the top goal kind of person. Now, both those goals are really fine. Those are the two polarities on the goal setting spectrum, right? So you should have those goals. So it seems like 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like it's Meatloaf or something singing. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? But the middle one is good. And let me tell you why. Especially if, now I know Bridget and her husband are doing decently with the 2 different types of businesses that they have. But let's say you're like, I can set baby step goals and I can strike off my list. I'm a pretty effective planner person. But at the end of the day, that's the day-to-day stuff that I have to do. And it's busy work, but it's not really growing my business tremendously. It might help me clear the deck to do things for my business, but I find that I'm not really doing well with that. And everybody can fantasize about the hairy, scary goals. But when I say hairy, scary goals, I don't mean like, okay, let me give you an example. Well, let me finish this thought there first, and I'll give you an example. So like, if you don't have a middle of the road goal and you just have the stuff that, unless I'm totally being a fool, I should be able to hit these goals. And I know I'm very confident that I can hit these goals. So those are like your beginner hurdle type goals. And at the other end of the spectrum, when I say hairy, scary goals for, in this example, 2022, If you're starting out from scratch saying, I'm going to have a 7-figure business at the end of the year, that's my hairy, scary goal, Stacey. That's going to be a bridge a bit too far given most people's facts and circumstances. Like, I don't want to rain on your parade, and I'm not saying it can't happen. But when you are starting from scratch, or you're rebooting a business, or you're doing a big, ugly pivot, even if you have a big following and even if you have a big email list, you might not be able to make the jump all the way up to 7 figures because we're starting from scratch, right? So, or a pivot can be messy sometimes if we don't execute it really well. And even if we do, right? So, a hairy, scary goal that would be realistic when you're starting from scratch would maybe be a 6-figure result. Like, my hairy, scary will be 100,000. My goal that I know I can hit for this year, given my facts and circumstances, I'm starting from vapors. Let me hit 5 figures. I know I should be able to get $10,000 in sales. I still have 11 plus months in December 2020. In 2022. So if I was doing $1,000 a month, and even if I made nothing in January, I should be able to get to $11,000 by the time I hit December 31st, 2021. So maybe your hurdle or basic goal is $10,000. Let me hit 5 figures. That's cool. And then, a hairy, scary goal would be, I'm starting from scratch. Let me hit 100,000 this year or better. We don't have to put a ceiling on it. But 7 figures might be too much. The up the middle goal might be like, okay, so if I'm pretty secure in knowing that I can make $1,000 a month, and even if I have 1 or 2 months that are goose eggs, which once you're up and running persistently and consistently, that should not happen unless you don't have proof of concept and you're selling something that people don't want, or you are selling something that not enough people want, or you are selling something in a way that's not coming up in search. They're thinking they want this over here. You have what they need, but you are not optimizing things so that it's matching what they're wanting in their search behavior. So you can still have a goose egg. Okay. But if you want something up the middle and you say, okay, I'm pretty sure I can make about $1,000 a month, then let's go all sorts of crazy and say, hey, what if I make $5,000 plus or minus a month? If I really go pedal to the metal, if I really dump all the excuses, get a dream team to get my act together personally and professionally, and I really, really work, right? I'm not going to pace and perseverate and worry. I'm not going to repeat the litany to myself and God and all my friends on the phone and start from the beginning of my life all over and talk about all the bad things that happens in my life. Because I have people who tried to do that with me. But for one person who's a very close relative, I've shut all that down. Those can be weeds in the business of your life personally and professionally too. And it hurts to cut those people off. But if they're too far gone, they're not your puzzle to solve. And they're just draining your time, your energy, your bandwidth to reinvest back into your business to actually make it profitable this year, right? Or to actually get to 5 figures if you've not this year. Or actually, if you've gotten multiple 5 figures before, your middle of the road goal is 6 figures. Maybe your hairy, scary goal is $250,000. But if you're like, okay, I know I can do $1,000 a month, and I got 10, 11 months, so I should be making $10,000, $11,000, even if January were a goose egg, then I would push it to $5,000 a month. Why not? Even if you fall back a little, you could still very easily make $40,000, $50,000 this year. You could make, even if it was $25,000, because something up the middle isn't that crazy. Because if you could do $1,000 to $2,000 a month, then why can't you double it? You could. All right. So understand, but the hairy, scary goal for the end of 2022 shouldn't be something that's so shoot the moon that it's crazy, because then your subconscious mind is going to be like, no way, forget it. Can't do that. And so you will never get there, and it might get so frenzied, it'll just rip you apart for everything else. Does that make sense? Depending upon who you are, That's what that could be your problem. So Daniela says, yes, one of my hairy, scary goals took 7 years to manifest. I worked at it and kept it in my mind's eye every day. Now that I've achieved it, I went to the next goal and fingers crossed it will happen. I'll say fingers crossed to be nice, but Daniela, because you're older like me. Life experience. You set it, you reverse engineer, you figure out every baby step to get you up every rung on the ladder to get to the next plateau, which is that next goal. And then you just do it. And there will be good days where you just, shoot the moon. And then there are going to be bad days where you feel like, oh my God, I can't even get the baby step goals done. But that goal keeping ceremony that we talked about several days ago, that's important because you will keep those goals in the forefront of your mind and you can't ignore them. They can't slip through the cracks, nothing. There's no excuses. You look at them and go, I've made progress on these. I've achieved these. I need to tweak these other goals given changes in facts, circumstances, market. And you can still get up every rung of the ladder to reach the top of this year, 2020, December 31st, 2022, and say, boom, I got what I wanted. The more tiny W's in the win column of life you get, the more you get your confidence built up. The more goals you can scratch off your list, baby steps, short-term goals, the more your subconscious mind goes, you know what? I am getting traction this year. You know what? I can do this. And I'm more willing to jump up to at least the next rung on the ladder. So that's why I'm saying that for folks like Bridget who can do hairy, scary, and can do regular, I know I can achieve these goals. I would have to super self-sabotage not to get these. Something cataclysmic would have to happen in life for me not to clear this hurdle goal. So yes, you have the two polarities set up you need to, but the thing in the middle is where you're more likely to go. But if it's too big of a jump between your basic hurdle goal and the hairy, scary goal just staying contained in 2022, then odds are you're not going to make the hairy, scary goal because it feels like too much of a jump, right? I just said the rungs in the ladder, your mind's eye goes, okay, I see the rungs. I see it. I can do it. Even if it's one day at a time, one rung at a time, I can do it. The problem is when you don't have a middle of the road goal, then yeah, you got to stretch and every month's got to be pretty super good. But you could conceivably see that instead of just hitting $10,000 by the end of the year, you could probably do $50,000, especially if you get a good head of steam going algorithmically. You're doing the social media, marketing that I discuss in all of my pre-edited videos on this channel, right? So, because today, the 31 days of coaching is more 30,000 foot view entrepreneurial mindset stuff. And I can do that on this channel too. But most of my pre-edited stuff are more like the brass tacks of Instagram SEO. This is how an adult markets with Instagram Reels. This is why you can't afford to ignore TikTok, which, by the way, my public service announcement for today, TikTok knocked off Google as the biggest website with the most traffic. And I think Google's held that position for 15 years. Okay. And now I believe, I know that since late last year, late summer, 52% of all users were adults. Now it's like way more. I want to say we are at 60% adult usage. We're talking like late 20s, 30s, and older. Okay. Not Gen Z. So if you're like, nah, I'm going to take a big pass at TikTok. The Wild West days are going to come to a close and you're going to cry, cry, cry. So if you're not doing video content marketing, that's a weed in the garden of your business too. You're convincing yourself, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not comely enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not enough. I don't want to do it. Your phone doesn't have to be the latest phone. You can use the onboard mic on your phone. You can use natural lighting or electric lighting, readjust, and you can shoot a 1-minute video every single day and put it up. I'm sorry, you can. And you can put it up on TikTok and edit it in the TikTok editor and take that same raw video on your camera roll and put it up in Instagram Reels and edit it in the Instagram Reels editor. And guess the frig what? You'll probably do really well if you understand how to optimize those videos on both platforms. So that is a weed in your garden of your business, especially for 2022. If you're like, no, I won't do videos at all. No, I won't do short form video content marketing. I can't, I won't. It's too scary. It's just for kids. Nah, that's so a year and a half ago. You're wrong. You're wrong. Go ahead. I triple dog dare you, even on TikTok. Like, even if you're grabbing a kid's, TikTok account, go search up the keywords and or hashtags that your ideal customer would be searching on, and your face is going to fall off. Get in before it's too late. Tend to the weeds in the garden of your business and plan out what your garden needs to look like by the end of the year, and then reverse engineer to get there. Does anybody have any more questions about what I've taught today? Because that was a really good question, Daniela and Bridget. You brought up a really good point. So do you understand the fact that you need that middle of the road goal that isn't so hairy scary, but you're uncomfortable because you really would have to push to get up the middle? It's sort of like the pricing guide thing that Renee Christine has taught. And she's discussed this publicly. You want to price so that you have more you always have to price high enough to discount low enough and have a high enough profit margin. You always have to price amongst the top in your industry, or it's going to be next to impossible to be profitable, let alone to get to 5 and 6 figures. You just can't do it. I don't care if you're selling mini courses. I don't care if you're selling handmade products. I don't care if you're selling phantom products on like Printful, Printify, and Zazzle. I don't give a crap. Price high enough to get a high enough profit margin. And when you run sales and promos, you're still having a good profit margin. That said, the least expensive things on the one side, you might get people who just go for those, and that's great. Then you have like a crazy expensive thing that is not beyond the ability of your average ideal customer to get. You will get some sales there. Up the middle, you will price something up the middle. Most people will go to the middle because they're more comfortable with that mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. So it is with your goals. Don't just have hurdles you can clear. Those are important. Don't just have hairy, scary goals that it's a long shot, but you could maybe do that in 2022. It's not impossible. And then have something up the middle that's going to make you very uncomfortable. You will have to bear down and push to birth that, but you could do it, right? So for a lot of you, $10,000 this year might be your minimum goal. 100,000 might be a hairy, scary, and up the middle is like 40, 50,000. Does that make sense? Tiffany says, are the 40 to 65 ages on TikTok hard to imagine? You're wrong. Actually, you're wrong, Tiffany. First of all, Google it. This is not the gospel according to Stacey. Those stats are out there. And second of all, Gen X creators are getting more traction on there. So Gen X is not only coming to the table of TikTok more, but Gen X is also starting to become creators on TikTok and getting traction on TikTok. 80s and nostalgia-based stuff that especially in and around the 1980s decade is getting a lot of traction. So I'm actually very proud to say, no, you are getting people who are in the prime of their lives, earning the best money. Let's see, ages on TikTok, 2022. Let's get the most. Oh, I love it. So 20.3, as of January 5th, 2022, these are the demographics of TikTok users by age. Ready? 20.3% of TikTok's active users, especially in the US, right, are 40 to 49 years old. 21.7% of TikTok's active users in the US are 30 to 39. Most of you are selling to Gen Y or Gen Z. Those are the people with the money Those are the people who are in their prime, could have more room to go. Gen X and Gen Y. If I said something else, I'm sorry. So if you're selling to a millennial mom, Gen Y, she's on there. 21.7% of the active users are 30 to 39. 20.3% are 40 to 49 years old. So you've got older range Gen Y, millennial, going into younger range Gen X. And those are the people who have the extra money to spend, if anyone does. Kids, tweens, and teens have to go to mama to spend. People who are on fixed income, they're way into baby boomerish. I'm not saying that they're dead or something. They're not going to have fun. They're not going to use TikTok, because some of them are on there too. But they don't necessarily, they're not going to be earning their highest and best money. They've peaked, most of them. They're on fixed incomes, many of them. So trying to sell predominantly to a much older crowd, I don't care what your business model is, that might explain why you're not making the money you want to make. But Gen Y or Gen X, pick, because these are both different ideal customers. Your content's going to look different. The slang's going to be different. Where these people are in their lives, there's some similarities, but there's some differences. But you'd want to sell to Gen Y and Gen X right now. Okay, because even Gen X, a lot of the folks in that generation have another 10 to 15 years of their prime left. And that's just how the current market is behaving. Okay. Yeah, and Kim Arnold, you're right. She says, I've seen a lot of videos from people in that age range. They don't jump or act crazy. They just talk usually. Tiffany says, that's incredible. I just don't know anyone in that range browsing on there, but I also don't know the whole world. So I had to ask. I'm glad you asked. Yeah, not the video makers. I'm talking about viewers and buyers. Right. So that is, yeah. As with any generation, Tiffany, it's fair to say, even with Gen Z, they're digital natives. Most people within a generation are more content consumers, and they're searching for content to binge on that has to do with their main pain point or their main passion point. Got to go where the attention is. But most people are going to be content consumers and not content creators. And that's in any generation. And that's the same for Gen Z. Okay. They're just going to be more voracious in their appetite. Lenore Love says, and this is a very good question, how much content can you cover in 60 seconds? Or just make it a short every day, even if it's not product related? Actually, yes to that. You can mix it up, and you should, because you never know what type of content your audience is going to love more. But let me do the 60-second, let me see, second. Okay, so there's a video on my channel. I'm going to share the link both live and on the replay. And I never liked my own video. How sad. Okay, so this is the 60-second script 2021, but I made it like mid to late 2021, okay? So this is still the good deal. Let's see. 60-second script. I'm going to put it here. It's a video on my channel, and you can use it for Instagram Reels. You could use it for YouTube Shorts. You could use it for TikTok, anywhere that vertical video is. As a side note, on Instagram Reels currently, you only can go up to a minute, which is fine. And I believe it's the same thing for Shorts, but I don't want to talk through my hat on that. TikTok, you can go up to 3 minutes currently. Here's the deal. TikTok, it's still kind of the case that videos that are 45 minutes, 45 seconds to about a minute, usually 45 seconds, tend to perform better in terms of retention and repeat watching and engagement than up to 3 minutes. That's not always the case. That's the trend. Okay. So if you use the 60-second video script that I have, no matter what your business model is and no matter what you're doing, it will show you how to get a conversion out of 60 seconds or a little less. without dancing or singing, no matter what you're showing or showcasing in that video? Or are you just straight up talking to people? Okay. So that video will help you. So even though you could go up to 3 minutes on TikTok, and sometimes you should, I'm not saying don't go past a minute, but this video script that I have does work. So Tiffany says, I know people are getting followers and views, but I wonder what the conversion rates are for those ages as a target market. Let me tell you something. And then I got to wrap this up. You can sell on TikTok. I'll give you an anecdotal, and then I'm going to tell you where TikTok is doubling down in terms of spending their money. And I will give you a quick example from that. For Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, we're at like 820 something thousand fans or followers on TikTok. We're not like the products-based business people or coaches or course creators. Like, our stuff isn't virtual, so everyone in the world can't buy our stuff. We're a brick and mortar business that sells ice cream and hamburgers, right? So, like, it's nice that we have a lot of fans or followers. It's nice that we get a fair amount of engagements and comments. But who cares? Because you can't translate fans or followers or likes or comments into money. And I often say that in videos and in some lives. Not a lot this month, but in lives I do once a week other than this month, I will tend to say, sure, it's great. You want to build up a following on TikTok or elsewhere. You need to build up that social media community, because it does give you some social proof so that people who are in a position to buy from you are more likely to do it. Or if they bought from you once and they're happy and they keep seeing you're growing, people are having fun, they're engaging with the content, it's more deposits into the bank of know, like, and trust. And so they're more likely to buy from you again or to refer you out to somebody else who could buy from you. So now with Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, we get a lot of people showing up who are saying, I'm buying from you for the first time because I saw you on TikTok. And I couldn't believe that you were within a half an hour to an hour from where I am. Or, something like that. It also led to the demand for us to come out with a sister company, Comfort Food Clothes, where we sell gear with our logo on it. Because somebody might go, hey, I live in Hamburg, Germany. You're not going to ship a hamburger to me. I can't buy directly from you. But I'm a foodie and I love the content so much. And I love your brand and your staff's fun. And when they go live, if I can see the lives I'm on it, I want to feel like part of the crew. At least you could ship a t-shirt to me with a logo. I'll pay. So that's just how far-flung it is. Now, Jennifer Chamberlain Majors, who is one of my regular students, she has been able to sell on TikTok since last summer. She got injured recently, so the poor girl's recuperating. But she was like, Stacey, every single week I could get 2 sales. I could get 4 sales. I could get 6 sales just off TikTok. People will see a product being made, being demoed, a happy customer video, something like that. And they will reach out to her in the messages on TikTok and go, where do I go to buy that? Every single week, there's 0 excuses. Okay. Let alone my jewelry people. Jennifer doesn't make jewelry. She doesn't make skincare. She doesn't make makeup. She makes personalized sports jerseys. And she's getting people going, oh, I need those. People are ordering for teams through TikTok. Okay. Now, TikTok is doubling down on letting people, they've been beta testing, shop the look, because so many people are getting requests to buy things in the messages. And TikTok's like, fine, you can't beat them, join them. But we'd rather people stay on our platform longer. They're already on TikTok longer than they are from YouTube. That's millennials are on TikTok longer than YouTube. I know. Your jaw just hit the floor, left it dead. Reality check. Your reality check bounced if you're going to sleep on TikTok. Get it? Got it? Good. Because they are spending money and they are beta testing shop the look. For example, if somebody's wearing their own merch as an influencer, they can, if they're in this beta test program, they can put like a silver gray kind of bar that says shop the look. If someone taps on that, it opens up a Shopify store page and they can buy there so that they can make the purchase without going through the messages and saying, hey, and then they get like a link to go buy and they're off the app. TikTok, just like every other platform, does not want you off its platform ever. So they will do double backflips to keep you on. Another example, so many people are digging food-based videos on TikTok that now TikTok has, they're going to have like TikTok kitchens, and you can order food and get it delivered to you through a third-party entity that will get a ghost kitchen to create the food that you see on TikTok and get it delivered to you. Yes, you can sell. People have been selling for the last year to 2 years. Hardcore, feet on the floor, get on TikTok. Man, it's been a while since I've gotten on my soapbox. Oh, la 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 la. So Tiffany asked, now for these videos, are they all the ones with the faces behind the scenes? Much better than any photos, graphics, sideshow styles. Mix it up. Got to be actual video. You can experiment because you never know how your ideal customer folks are going to go, Tiffany, but usually ones with faces in them do better. And the algorithm might be pushing those out a little more because they tend to perform better. I'm not saying that slideshows won't work at all, but it's usually got to be a human in there. Humans just like other humans. What can I say? Clicks and buys aren't the same thing. Yeah, but there's so much buying going on that TikTok's doubling down for buying an app and ordering food off app. So that's what TikTok's done, because there's a lot of sales going on one way or another through their platform. All right, so there you go. Okay, guys, I got a jet. I will talk to you later. Please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. It will help to serve up the replay to more subscribers. Make sure that you've subscribed. Yes, I get passionate about content marketing, but I don't want my customers, by and large, they're women. I have coached men too through the years, but I'm so tired of people going, well, I can't, oh, it's a big explosive opportunity, but you know what it is? And I wouldn't be so passionate about it if I didn't have way more than Jennifer Chamberlain Majors, way more than just Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, making money week in, week out, directly due to TikTok. And rising tides lift all boats. They are more likely to opt into your email list if that's the website link you use on TikTok, and it should be. They're more likely to check you out on Instagram or YouTube because you can connect those two accounts in your profile. So you should. It will grow your business. I don't give a damn at the end of the day about anything else other than money, because we will run out of financial runway if we're just posting crap all day long. We're not here to do it for fun. We're here to do it for profit. So what gets me mad is when everybody's like, no, but I can't. No, I don't look nice enough. No, I have facial palsy. What's anyone's excuse? I'm over 50. What's anybody's excuse? I'm not my goal weight. What's anybody's excuse? Show up. Meet the moment. You will get better at doing the thing by doing the thing, and you will make money. As long as you have proof of concept and you're selling stuff that people want, that people are searching for, you use the keywords in your tiny little caption for your TikTok, you fit in one or two hashtags that people are searching on with buyer's intent to see jewelry like yours, or skincare like yours, or makeup solutions like yours, or courses like yours, or anything like yours, you will get buyers on TikTok. They are growing at such a rapacious rate. It took Instagram such a while to become a place where people were buying and selling off it. TikTok is shredding and destroying everything. It is microwave growth, not crock pot. You got to get in on it, because this time next year, it might be too late. All right, I will talk to you all later. Bye.